Roza, you are the executive director for the Future Generation Pac. Please tell us about your PAC.
So the Future Generation Pac is fairly new. We are not even a year old yet, but we are Future Generations is led by the seventh generation principle of common people, native ancestors, that the world decisions that we make today should be done with at least 7 generations into the future in mind, so that we can leave a more sustainable world. And while historically this has been a philosophy that's been used to talk about our relationship with the environment, one of the things that we really wanted to get across to our candidates was that everything is so interconnected now with racial, housing, economic, and healthcare justice, that we really need somebody who understands what it means to push forward policy that isn't one level of a commitment to policy, but it's going to be something that we're going to consider in how it's going to affect everyday people, people in minorities or marginalized communities. So we have been very proud to have an amazing slate. It's one of those things that it just takes a little bit more time to go through the candidates and make sure that we have the right people on board who truly understand that and who are going to value this future generation philosophy.
If I'm a candidate running and I want to get endorsed by your PAC, like what's the procedure for that? And then also, what can you do for a candidate once you endorse them?
First steps for anybody who wants to get our endorsement is to go to our website and apply through our nominate tab. They can actually be nominated by their peers, or they can nominate themselves. You don't need to wait for anybody to tell you that you can run. You can run on your own if you believe that you are the person who's going to affect change. In my case, people were kind of like asking me to run, and I was looking for someone to run, but really if nobody else was going to do it, you have to just step up and do it yourself. So that would be first step. Take the leap and nominate yourself if you need to. If your community already believes that you're a leader, they can nominate you as well. Once we do endorse you, the entire PAC itself is youth founded. So I'm not one of the founders. I was actually invited by one amazing young woman, Chiara D'Angelo, who's a social and environmental activist in the Seattle region. They initially asked me to help them out to launch their first candidate. And that's kind of where our relationship began, but it is completely youth-founded, youth-led. So what we do is we want to make sure that when we endorse you, that you feel like the cavalry is coming to save your campaign. We want to make sure that you understand that we have endorsed you because we have the faith that you are going to work hard and take bold measures to do what it takes to fight for future generations, and that could be, like I said, in the environment or in criminal justice, or even like we're seeing right now that we don't have too many strong voices in the Senate or Congress right now to fight for a clean bill for COVID. So we're going to be coming out there. We're going to be doing your phone banking, text banking, doing relational organizing, where we have a friends and family program. We're going to be really doing anything that we can to get you across the finish line. Awesome. And we've had great success from most of the candidates that we have endorsed. We have only had 3 who have not gone through their primaries. Wow. So we're going to be very, very, very busy for the general.
How along the process should I be if I want to get your endorsement? So should I have my campaign manager? Should I have a certain amount of volunteers? Should I have a certain amount of money before I even think about contacting your website?
No, and I think that's where we're a little different than any other endorsement that you'll get. So we don't just endorse people who are already running or who already have their campaign off the ground. We want to be there for you at an inception, right? So if you want to run, if you kind of have an idea of the position that you want to run for, and that's the position that you're passionate about, because we will have an interview and ask you about why you are the person to run for that position and what you're going to be doing that's different than anybody else has been able to do. We can help you with seed money. We can help you with launching your campaign, and that's something that we've done for some of our candidates. We can help you with messaging and branding. We basically come in as a team and help you out. And this is something that I learned in my initial run because I had no clue about how to even start. So once I was able to gain that knowledge, that's something that I wanted to pay forward to every other candidate that may not have the resources or the connections to move at this pace.
Awesome. I remember I watched a video where you said you had 10 campaign managers and they all kind of, because they all volunteer and they were kind of swapping in and out. Explain that a little bit. And I'm just curious, like, how can I find a campaign manager? Like, would you find me a campaign manager, or how would that work?
We actually we'll reach out to our networks and see if anybody is looking for a campaign manager position. We'll reach out to local clubs because a lot of people have ran campaigns. You may have somebody who will be able to help you start your campaign, and once it really starts launching, that you'll be able to maybe afford somebody who has some experience under their belt. But for us right now, at least my example, when I had like 10 campaign managers, was because I had no money. So the minute that I chose to run, and I chose to run a non-corporate funded campaign, I was basically blocked from a lot of organizations from proceeding. So money wasn't coming in. Talking about wanting to become a Justice Democrat and take this different angle of running political campaigns was something that just wasn't very well received by the state party. And so immediately, like, I just didn't have the money. So, but I did have a message. And that message is something that resonated with people in the district that wanted to see change. So I had probably an army of like 300 volunteers. We never, not once, had one paid staffer, but we did do whatever we could with what we had. Everything that we did was in-house. Our graphics were done in-house. Our t-shirt designs were done in-house. Our literature designs were done in-house. Our campaign managers, they were mostly retired women from the district who either like gave me an office in their home, or they were taking shifts to whatever event I had. Somebody would accompany me all the time, so I always had somebody with me. And it was an amazing organization, just a community getting together to support a candidate. And it's something that I'm probably the most proud of in my campaign.